And let's start right away with a very telling aspect. Why are they bombing Sochi? Shouldn't they be bombing Russia? This phrase from a local resident during the drone attack instantly went viral. And it's not even about the fact that people in Sochi no longer want to be associated with Moscow. The point is that as of 2025, there are no peaceful regions left in the Russian Federation. Ukrainian armed forces drones are capable of striking and will strike military targets throughout the entire territory of Russia. Watch the report by TSN Week correspondent Oksana Radionova for the most notable strikes in recent days.
This is the resort city of Sochi. For the first time since the start of the full-scale war, Ukrainian drones resembling the Lyut UAV have added something rather specific to the tourist package. But apparently, the Russian vacationers didn't like it very much, and the local residents liked it even less.
Why are they bombing Sochi? Aren't they supposed to be bombing Russia?
Wait, isn't Sochi part of Russia? This question has already become a meme, just like the next one. Where is Russian air defense?
They've already run out of missiles. Maybe they really have run out of missiles. It's just nonsense at this point.
And it's even worse where the air defense is actually working. They fired at a drone so badly that they ended up hitting a residential building with their own S-400 missile. The main target of the Ukrainian attack was the oil depot at Sochi International Airport. Thousands of cancelled flights at Russian airports were compounded by a new transportation collapse. Drones have identified key railway junctions important to the occupying army. These are the logistical arteries that feed Russia's war machine. If they're cut, supplies to the front come to a halt. Through Kamny, the full name is Kamenolomny Station, the Russian army transfers equipment, weapons, fuel and soldiers to the front. High-quality drones destroyed not only the station building itself, but also the control room and the networks. As a result, nearly 150 trains failed to arrive at their destinations on time, which undermines their offensive. And this is another station, Likaya. In fact, trouble has plagued it since the days of the ATO. In fact, a significant part of the supply for the Donetsk and Luhansk fronts comes from here. Our defenders also attacked the railway logistics hub in Novocherkassk. Last night, a substation exploded in the Volgograd region, which supplies power to the railway in the Oktyabrski district. Civilian air traffic is being blocked by drones. We are actively attacking the railways. There are also changes happening in Russian ports. Starting this week, all foreign vessels there have been ordered to be inspected by FSB officers, which adds more problems to the Russian war economy. We continue the painful tactic of 100 cuts for the enemy. It was our forces, using two types of drones at once, these mini Shaheds and these tailed UAVs, that struck the sanctioned radio plant Signal in Stavropol. This plant is key for electronic warfare systems in aviation and air defense, as well as for weapon guidance systems. And this is how the nitrogen plant in the Stavropol region was burning, a producer of raw materials for explosives, specifically nitric acid and ammonium nitrate. Drones also paid a visit to the Tambov gunpowder plant. Here, the Russians produce gunpowder both for small arms and for rockets. A series of powerful explosions thundered in occupied Donetsk and Makiivka. There was a powerful strike in the area of the Zashetko mine. At least 8 hits targeted the occupiers' base and the railway infrastructure. Ammunition was burning near occupied Melitopol. This week, our military intelligence reported. At the Armavir airfield in Krasnodar Krai, a Su-27 combat training fighter caught fire. They hinted that this was the work of partisans and that this is not the end.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
And now, an analysis of the operational situation on the much-suffering Pokrovsk direction of the front. The situation here, too, is traditionally tense to the limit. On the Pokrovsk direction, throughout the day, the aggressor carried out 39 assault and offensive actions. High activity of Russian occupiers was recorded in the areas of the settlements of Novoekonomichne, Razino, Mirolyubivka, Lisivka, Zverevo, Udachne, Orekhov, Alexeyevka, Poltavka, Kotlino, as well as in the directions of Pokrovsk, Belitske, Novukrainka, Novopavlovka, Zapovedne, and Rodinske. 2 firefights are still ongoing. At the same time, the settlements of Rodinske, Mirnohrad, Mykolaiivka, and Pokrovsk were hit by guided aerial bombs. Yes, enemy saboteurs entered Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. It is reported that one group was eliminated near the intersection of Shevchenko and Defenders of Ukraine streets. This isn't the very center, but it's not the outskirts of Pokrovsk either. The problem is that Ukraine simply doesn't have enough infantry in the Pokrovsk area. That's exactly why the enemy was able to get in there. This week, the regional military administration announced a mandatory evacuation from Dobropilia and 9 other settlements near Pokrovsk. And TSN war correspondent Andriy Tsaplienko worked with drone system units and tried to find out whether robots can replace people in holding the defensive line. Let's watch.
A Russian FPV drone is sitting on the road, waiting for its victim, a Ukrainian vehicle. Our soldiers call such traps by the Russian word zhdun, the waiter. Fortunately, the zhdun was spotted by a Ukrainian drone. One drone destroys another. The war of robots, it's already a reality. This is a typical situation for the defenders near Pokrovsk, where the enemy is trying to create an impassable kill zone and cut off logistics.
They're hitting our logistics terribly hard.
The enemy has advanced to the center of the village of Novoekonomichne, northeast of Mirnohrad. This means that the logistics corridor along the Kostiantynivka-Pokrovsk highway has already been lost. There are only 2 roads left to the strategically important city, one from the direction of Pavlohrad and another through the village of Rodinske. But both are under constant artillery fire and drone strikes. Fire! The 59th Brigade is holding the defense in the Pokrovsk area. This unit of unmanned systems forces also has its own assault infantry. Sometimes only ground drones are able to reach the positions there.
The enemy has cut off our logistics in this sector. Right now, it's also very difficult to get in with an armored personnel carrier or pickups. In our sector, robotic systems are the top priority.
Back at the beginning of the year, the Da Vinci Wolves Battalion, which became part of the 59th, realized that ground robots allow people to survive in places where it would seem impossible to survive. This is how a wheeled drone delivers food, ammunition, and medical supplies to the guys literally right under the enemy's nose. Because the Russians are, without exaggeration, sitting in the neighboring house. Now the battalion has a whole arsenal of unmanned vehicles for different tasks.
Its carrying capacity is from 400 kilograms. It can operate several times during the night.
The main task is logistics and evacuation of the wounded.
To evacuate one wounded person, you need at least 4 people. But with the robot, the job is easier. It makes things easier because you don't need 4 people. This already guarantees greater safety for people. Another advantage is that it works faster than a group of people.
Drones are also used to evacuate the dead. Here is one of those missions. A group of assault troops requests the evacuation of the body of a hero who died on the front line. A termite drone tries to retrieve him. During the evacuation, several enemy FPV drones attack the ground drone. The robot withstands the hits. If the fallen soldier's comrades had tried to carry out his body, there would have been even more casualties. This guy, an NRC operator, had his own drone save his life during a logistics operation.
You could say the termite bought me my life. A Russian FPV attack starts on us. I see an FPV drone, it's flying straight at me. They're already shouting at me, "Run!" And I hear the FPV drone stop before landing, turn around and fly into the termite.
The operator whose robot shielded him is only 21 years old.
My advantage is UAVs and strike ground robotic systems.
Strike ground robotic systems operating here, specifically in the Pokrovsk area, have successfully stopped several significant assaults.
At that moment, the enemy was carrying out assault operations, and in fact they were successful. We were engaging the enemy from a nearby grove. Our task was to destroy the enemy. During our, let's say, shift at this position, we killed 4 sappers, specifically from the turret. We took out 2 of them right away, pinned 2 others to the ground, and then hit them with an FPV drone.
And this is a kamikaze platform. Usually, it delivers an anti-tank mine one way. An experienced operator can easily drive such a machine right into the enemy's shelter. Now, here we go. Detonation. But machines like these haven't become a mass weapon yet. The main task for ground-based unmanned systems is logistics. But hoping that robots are holding the front line near Pokrovsk due to a shortage of people is wishful thinking.
Let me be honest with you. At this stage, logistics is like a joint, essential for the front line. At the moment, it can't hold a section or somehow reinforce it.
Here, near Pokrovsk, the war is changing very rapidly. Drones that were effective just yesterday suddenly lose their relevance today. This primarily concerns aerial drones, says the deputy commander of the 59th.
For me, this tool works well, but for the neighboring unit, say 3 brigades over, it doesn't work there.
Why?
Technical conditions, radio frequencies, where the enemy is, well, for example, right now we have a situation where certain frequencies are working. On another section of the front, they might not work.
What do you do? It's a critical issue, especially when sometimes only drones can stop the enemy. The deputy brigade commander's solution is simple. Those who know their section of the front should be allowed to purchase drones themselves.
Decentralization. In other words, a military unit should have the right, have discretionary funds, and be able to say, we are ready to take responsibility for a specific piece of equipment.
In addition, the brigade command officer believes that this would also create an opportunity to reduce the unjustifiably high financial appetites of some manufacturers and therefore increase the number of drones.
The 10th FPV, yes, the 10th frame.
This is
Exactly the same, just the 10th one, with a 10-kilometer spool on it. With one manufacturer, it costs 48, 47, and with another, 30. It's exactly the same thing. I don't even know what could justify artificially raising the price like that. What is it based on? Some kind of technical solution? No, they're identical.
From a financial standpoint, it looks like profiteering during wartime. In other words, people are profiting and taking advantage of the war without actually thinking about the outcome, about victory, or about the limitations of our resources. The defense of Pokrovsk shows that a turning point is coming in the war. To withstand it, everyone needs to adapt quickly, both those holding the front and those supplying the ammunition.